Alright, so today I'm here to refute the claim that designating obesity as a disease distracts from the most effective countermeasures against obesity while resulting in unnecessary rises in healthcare. I intend to refute this claim by quoting the following secondary claims the author used. First, that exercise and proper nutrition are the only effective countermeasures to obesity. Secondly, that obesity is just a risk factor and shows no symptoms other than excess fat. And lastly, that it increases the Medicare costs because it is considered as a disease. The first rebuttal I have for the initial claim that the most effective countermeasures to obesity are exercise and proper nutrition. While exercising daily and proper nutrition are important to helping maintain a healthy lifestyle, this claim is completely ignoring the fact that obesity has been linked to an individual's genes. A study conducted by the World Health Organization in 2011 showed that among 300 families designated as obese, 80% of their offspring displayed tendencies to become obese, whereas 7% of offspring from healthy families displayed the same tendency. According to Claude Bouchard, a researcher in genetics at Pennington Biomedical Research Center, the evidence is very clear that there is a genetic component to the risk of becoming obese, and this genetic component is stronger for severe obesity than it is for milder forms of obesity or even being overweight. It is important that we recognize there are other factors, sometimes out of our control, that cause obesity, and simply saying eating properly and exercising daily is enough. Perhaps another countermeasure that may have been to help this claim is promoting public outreach to children and families at younger ages. Helping children learn healthy habits at a younger age so they grow up without worrying about becoming overweight and obese. While eating healthy and exercise are effective countermeasures, by no means are they the only countermeasures. The second rebuttal I have is that obesity is more than just a risk factor and does in fact display symptoms other than excess fat. Let's examine the second claim first, that the only symptom is excess fat. According to Carlton G. Savory, a doctor at Johns Hopkins, excess weight gained by obesity causes degeneration of cartilage in the knees and ankle joints, causes osteoarthritis, and all but prevents the possibility of joint replacement surgery. Excess fat has more ramifications than just the physical and visual presence of more mass, and therefore it is important to mention what this fat will cause. It is not enough to claim that the only symptom is excess fat, when in fact it causes many more problems. Secondly, the pain caused by this excess fat prevents movement, and then in turn makes it difficult for obese individuals to exercise. So once a person has become obese, exercise invariably becomes impossible, and therefore not an effective countermeasure anymore. The second statement I will address is the claim that obesity is only a risk factor. First, what exactly does it mean for something to be a risk factor? According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, a risk factor is indicative of the likelihood of an event or outcome that is undesirable from happening. With 96% of all individuals with obesity obtaining some sort of disease, as a study that the World Health Organization released, I think everyone will agree that there must be a very large risk factor involved with being obese. So claiming that obesity is only a risk factor clearly shows that it is huge due to all the problems that will come along with being obese. With that being said, simply calling obesity a risk factor does not lead to any valuable information other than telling us that it is something we need to worry about. The last claim I'll make is that not only are Medicare costs not increasing as a result of claiming obesity as a disease, but it is in fact helping those lose weight. By claiming obesity as a disease, Medicare companies can place restrictions and certain requirements for those who are claiming it. Currently, Medicare is requiring that anyone claiming obesity must lose 12 pounds every 6 months or they will lose their coverage. This is significant because these people, had they not claimed being obese, would constantly be receiving medications without any goals and can just get these medications forever. Calling obesity a disease forces these individuals covered under it to get better and eventually get off of Medicare. In the long run, this will save money for the taxpayers and in turn help those who are obese. Obesity is a problem in America and the world, and it's only going to get worse. Bringing awareness and recognition of the problem obesity causes will help prevent and help those who suffer from it. Thank you.
All right, all the structural stuff is solid. On the first point, where you talk about obesity being linked to the genes and all those other sources of obesity that come about, you need to explain why that's important. In the long run, it basically means that there have to be other treatments rather than just the two that, the diet and exercise that the advocate is talking about. They may include, for instance, medication or surgical techniques, which would be the only way to potentially address those issues. And those things are, in fact, medical issues that coverage by healthcare would be beneficial for. So it goes right to the heart of what the advocate's talking about on that point, and I think that's the way you want to present that particular issue. The notion that it's a contributory factor, I think you've got some good information on this and a pretty straightforward explanation that it's not just appearance-based. It's got to do with long-term health consequences. And in fact, when you get to the risk factor argument, I think that argument, with the statistic that you have there, actually fits better with this particular information than the place that you actually put it in. And then your counterclaim on medical costs, I think you could show that addressing obesity earlier and treating it by having it covered by medical plans or Medicare or Medicaid, for instance, might reduce costs in the long run because of all those diseases that are associated with it, that should be the outcome. I do think you need a source citation on this stuff that says that they got to lose 12 pounds every 6 months or they're going to lose their coverage on that. I've never heard of that. I'm not saying it's not true, but if you're going to make a claim based on that, I think you need to provide the evidence that supports that position. All right, thank you.